Welcome back, evildoers and naysayers. Bonus podcast. Everybody knows we're going to talk about serious or we're going to talk about not serious stuff. And we're going to go from, I think, least serious to most serious. And some of it's going to touch on religion, but it's going to be fun. Don't worry. Don't say to yourself, Andrew, why do I want to hear about religion? You just do, okay? In this context, you do. You've come to me for the expertise. You want to hear it. And you want to hear about the first part of religion because it has to do with Kanye West. Now, Kanye, or Ye, as we've come to affectionately know him, like Prince. Prince could ball. We all know that. But as we've come to know, I was going to say Prince. As we've come to know Ye, we've come to know him as some sort of character. First, he was the producer. Then he was the rapper. Then he was the producer rapper. Then he was his crazy self, crazy in quotes. Let's skip everything up to like this year, okay? I think everybody has learned that Kanye is sort of the guy who you just let be himself and then let the music speak for itself and the art speak for itself. And I'm reminded of a guy, a former baseball player named Manny Ramirez, and he would say and do so many crazy things to the point where it was kind of expected. And in that sense, since it was expected, you sort of weren't affected by it as much. And they called it Manny being Manny. His name was Manny Ramirez. And when he would get up to something new, they would just say it's Manny being Manny, just being crazy again. Well, we're coming to expect Ye to just be Ye, aren't we? Whether he's, starting a political party, running for president, or he's, talking about Hitler, or he's showing up with a zipped up bag over his face. He's Kanye being Kanye, right? That's why everybody, myself included, were confused when he made a public apology to the Jewish people. Now, I want to start about a day before that. And about a day before that, this Israeli MMA fighter took credit for these artillery pieces. Now, we got to be careful on YouTube, right? These artillery pieces from the quote-unquote conflict happening. We'll try not to talk about that either because it'll be a whole thing with YouTube, I'm sure, and we don't need to talk about that right now, so why start? But he's writing names of people on these explosives. He's writing people, we're going to find it right here. He's writing names of MMA fighters who are all of a certain persuasion. Khabib Nurmagomedov, Bilal Muhammad, Islam Makhachev, Khamzat Chimaev. So he did that with Kanye West also. Okay, and he also did it with an MMA publication called Bloody Elbow. He also did that. So he was doing it all, and then he decided he was going to do it to Kanye as well. He wrote a message on there. What did he write? He said, Kanye West, you don't like us Jewish, so we don't like you too. And he attached the photo, which was, of course, that with the that thing with Kanye's name on it. And I'm sure Fox News showed it. Otherwise, we're going to have to find it ourselves. No, but we'll plug it in right here anyways. So that's what this guy did. And then a day later, Kanye West comes out with this Instagram story, or this Instagram post, all in Hebrew. Me being a regular guy, me being a Canadian guy, I don't exactly speak Hebrew, so we relied on Reuters for the translation, and this is what he said. I sincerely apologize to the Jewish community for any unplanned outbursts. It was not my intent to hurt or disrespect, and I very much regret any pain I may have caused. I'm committed to begin with myself and to learn from this experience in order to ensure a greater sensitivity and understanding in the future, the Hebrew message reportedly read. Now, given what Kanye said about himself, Jesus, Hitler, yay, you might even think he said at one point. He may have gone to Alex Jones and said stuff. He may have hung out with people who said stuff. And you're just like, why would Kanye do this? Well, Peter Rosenberg, who's a radio guy, thinks he has the answer. And he says music executives made him do it. I think everybody unanimously thinks that Kanye is up to something here, right? We don't just expect a Kanye apology after all this time. So let's see what good old Pete Rosenberg had to say. I don't believe this is the one from the Eminem songs, okay? The Eminem interludes.
Your reaction to Kanye's apology?
I thought, I wonder what the sample is that Kanye needs to try to clear before Friday, because we all know Kanye notoriously is late with handling album stuff, and I just wonder whether there was something getting held up, and someone said, hey, this sample does not get cleared if he does not issue an apology. And like you guys said, he just goes on ChatGPT and boom, we get a quote apology.
You buying it?
No, of course not. Absolutely not. No part of me believes this apology. I totally agree, by the way, that the Hebrew part was like so either intentionally or unintentionally offensive, as if like American Jews can just read Hebrew without vowels. Like, bro, it's just another offensive thing here. Nah, I don't even think it wasn't even one thing we know about Kanye. He's many things. Inauthentic is not one of them. And that comment was so inauthentic that it lets you know it couldn't actually be from him. This whole Hitler fascination, this is now a years long thing. This is not.
All right, we're getting into a little bit of conjecture here. So I think that it's not offensive. Now, I'm not Jewish, so how can I say that? I just think that the very fact that it was in Hebrew, I don't think it was meant to say that you can't just. It's not. I don't think it was an insult to say that it was put in Hebrew as an additional insult. That's like saying you insulted French people, so putting something in French is insulting. Now, there may be lots of people who are French that don't speak French in North America. I think that's the idea, and I disagree with Rosenberg on that. However, you heard him mention in there that he thinks it was from ChatGPT. Now, this is what is floating around. There's the message again. What's floating around is that he got it entirely from ChatGPT. And so here's what somebody put into it. I've publicly endorsed the H-Man and made anti-Semisonic comments. Can you write a public apology for me? I sincerely apologize to the Jewish community for any unintended outbursts caused. Now, is that exactly the same as what Kanye said? I'm going back. It says, I sincerely apologize to the Jewish community. It's the same thing, okay? Now, I had a friend who will remain nameless put the same question into ChatGPT. And it came out a little bit different than this. So maybe ChatGPT is learning that it doesn't want to out Kanye, or it's learning that it should give different answers to things so it's not boring. But here's what it said. It said, I deeply regret my past actions and hurtful comments I have made. I want to sincerely apologize for endorsing the H-bomb. That sounds like something else. And anti-Semitic comments. I now understand the gravity of my words. I'm committed to learning from this experience and working towards becoming a better person. I apologize to all those who were affected by my words. See, it's a little bit different. So that makes me wonder, is it actually ChatGPT? Did he just use any AI? Obviously, something's going on here. But what can be certain is what Rosenberg said is this was not anything that it appears to be on taking it on face value. But what did Kanye do again? He got into the news. Even when they're just like, okay, he's going too crazy. We can't cover him anymore. And we want to cover him. He still finds a way to get them to cover him. Remember when he was going on that speaking tour and he went on Alex Jones and he went on all these different shows and you sort of saw how people would not just let him say, like, it doesn't mean I or anyone else agrees with what he says. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find somebody who's just like, yep, I endorse everything Kanye West says at this time. But I remember he went on, what's his name, Lex Friedman's show, and he just wouldn't let him talk. And if you have Kanye on, his rule is he has to be able to speak for as long as he wants about anything he wants, or else he's probably going to leave. And he did that on multiple things. He did that on Tim Pool, I believe, as well. So you really saw the people who were kind of just afraid to let him say these things because they have sponsors and they need people to not say certain things on their shows. And I understand that. I'm just saying it sort of showed who is willing to let a person say anything, no matter how crazy it is, and who is not allowed to do that, who is not allowing Kanye West to do that. So now since then, Kanye has been gone out of the spotlight. You know, the Daily Mail does stories about him and his wife or whatever, and what she chooses to wear and how much she looks like Kim Kardashian and all this other stuff. And then he went on his new rant in front of a bunch of people with phones, and he basically called the people all around him like grifters and people who were trying to milk him for money and, you know, capitalize off of him and didn't really support him. And then everybody was like, okay, that's another thing. We continue not to really take him seriously because he's so mean, right? He's back on Twitter now. That sort of got swept under the radar with Alex Jones getting the vote and everything. Alex Jones, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Kanye West all let back on Twitter on the same time. Interesting dinner party. Interesting dinner party if you go to that one. Elon Musk, Alex Jones, Big Marjorie, Ye, probably Joe Rogan's in there, and maybe Tony Hinchcliffe's along for the ride. I don't know. But then Kanye comes out with this apology, quote unquote, or as some people say, quote unquote. I don't know if you guys have noticed. Some people say that. Some people in media say that. Quote unquote. It's not that. You're quoting something, then you're unquoting something. It's not a quote on top of a quote. I don't understand that. But anyways, now he's back in the news, and everybody's trying to figure out, publicly, of course, publicly here, Paul Rosenberg, TMZ, everywhere else. They're trying to figure out why he said it or what he actually means by it. So I think Kanye West is going to turn around and say, hey, even when I'm saying the right thing, nobody believes me. This is what I think he believes and what he will say. Even when I'm saying the right thing and what they want me to say, nobody's going to believe me. So why would I say the quote, unquote, right thing anyways? You know what I mean? And what's going to end up happening here is Kanye is going to come out with more music. All the Kanye fans are going to say they love it, whether it's good or not. It'll probably be good. It will probably feature words that people don't want to be spoken. I don't think the first single was very good, that one that came out. It was decent, but it needed more Kanye. And then I think the whole cycle will restart. I think he's going to try to push the envelope again, and I think he's going to get kicked off of platforms and TV shows again, and the cycle will repeat itself. What he really needs to do is he just needs to buy a whole plot of land and start his own country. A commune. Have you seen one of these documentaries? I don't know if it's called The Commune or what it was called, but these socialists that sort of live off the grid, and they, but they have a TikTok, and so they invite people there and they don't trust anybody. He needs to start one of these. Start a reality show where Kanye West is president. Essentially, thousands of people will come. At least 500 people will show up and say, I will live under Kanye's rule for a month, let's say. The Kanye West Commune Project, where Kanye West is president. You sign a contract, 90 days, let's say, 60, 30 days, however much you want. You have to do what he says. You can't sue him. And we get video cameras of it. Kanye West rules the world. And then he'll use that to say, hey, I should be president. Maybe he already is. Maybe he's the one pulling the strings.
Turn it up, Jordan.